The Bihar police have now come up with a rather bizarre reasoning for seized liquor to disappear from the police custody. Cops claim that rats have drank up 9 liters of seized liquor, while on the other hand in Muzaffarpur, a cop on duty is actually seen creating a ruckus. Was he on a high? Let's take a listen to the SSP of Patna.
चूहे शराब पी रहे हैं या शराब कम हो रहा है, इसकी मुझे जानकारी नहीं है। हम लोग जांच उसका करवाएंगे, पर जो भी व्यक्ति, जो कानून है सबके लिए बराबर है, चाहे वो पुलिस वाला हो या आम पब्लिक हो या कोई भी हो, सबके लिए बराबर है और उस पर इक्वल कार्रवाई होगी।
सर, मलखाने में जो शराब पकड़ के रखे जाते हैं उन्हें तो या तो नष्ट करने है तो कम हो जा रहे शराब की क्वांटिटी वहाँ पर सब देखा है।
वो तो जांच का विषय है, नष्ट करने का आदेश लिया जाता है मजिस्ट्रेट से, तो नियमबद्ध कार्रवाई होगी उसमें।
Complaint has been filed against the Karnataka Chief Minister Siddharamaiah and 28 other ministers with the Lok Ayukt over the transfer of IPS officers in the state. Now, the complainant claims that while transfers should take place through the Police Establishment Board, there are several transfers that are happening according to the whims and fancies of ministers.
The Supreme Court has announced death for all 4 convicts in the Nirbhaya case. Now, that's the latest that we are breaking to you at this moment. The verdict has just been pronounced. Meenakshi Bhanja is with us. Meenakshi, we just broke the news of the verdict that the Supreme Court has pronounced. Can you give more details to our viewers?
Well, this is a historic judgment, and the moment both the judges pronounced the verdict, the courtroom erupted with sounds of claps, and the Supreme Court has retained a death sentence for the Nirbhaya rapist, and it has made some scathing, damning observations on the nature of the crime. The Supreme Court has today held that there has been this hunger for violence. The act itself has displayed the perverted nature of the crime, the mindset, and therefore the aspect of rarest of rare applies in this particular case, and therefore the 2 judges of the Supreme Court who have reached a concurring opinion. They have written separate judgments, but they have arrived at a concurring opinion, and they have held that this is an act which falls beyond any doubt within the category of rarest
so
of
that
rare.
is the critical point to establish. Yes, carry on.
Observations about the act itself. This was a very detailed, long reading or pronouncement, rather, where the Supreme Court has touched on various aspects of the case, which we will be bringing to our viewers. But for now, the breaking news coming from the top court is that this is a case which is so macabre in nature. The crime, the act was so depraved, and the court's conscience has been moved. This is a crime which has shocked the collective consciousness of society, according to the top court. There is scope for reform of the convicts.
4 people have been killed in Avalanche in Dodha district in Jammu. That's the latest that we are getting for you. Those are the visuals that you can see on your screen. In total, 4 people have been killed in an avalanche in Dodha district in Jammu, and those are the visuals, and 8 in fact have been injured as well. Natural calamity out there as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, and now 4 people getting killed in that avalanche.
A new terror video has surfaced which shows Hizbul terrorists threatening and physically abusing alleged informers. Now, the video from an undisclosed location in South Kashmir is being seen as an attempt by Hizbul to hit the human intelligence network of forces by spreading fear. This video, of course, details what happens when these terrorists are threatening this person who's believed to be an informer. Now, this largely is being seen as security forces as being an attempt to spread fear. Let me go across to Mir Farid, our Jammu and Kashmir Bureau Chief, for more on that. Farid, give us more details about this terror, and largely I assume this is being seen as an attempt to spread terror.
Yes, that's right. Attempt to spread fear. This new video that has surfaced from an undisclosed location in South Kashmir, you can clearly see 3 to 4 Hizbul militants who are dressed in army fatigues with weapons. They've caught hold of at least 3 people whom, according to them, are informers of the security forces, and then their punishment starts. Their hair is cut off, they're beaten up badly, and then, in fact, there is a background commentary which basically tries to sarcastically tell them that since they, according to the Hizbullah, joining the police force, so they would need a short haircut. So clearly this seems to be an attempt to spread fear, try to hit the human intel network of the security forces, which has been the most productive information network for the forces, as they have managed to kill a number of militants over a period of time. So now there seems to be a very well-planned move to send this video out and give a message to the informers, to the network of the security forces in villages, that you bend your ways or you will be targeted and similar treatment will be meted out to you. So clearly this seems to be an attempt to spread fear, and that's why this video has been made keeping in mind that particular strategy.
The Madurai bench of the Madras High Court has stayed summons issued to actor Kamal Haasan over his remark on Mahabharat. The case was filed by Hindu Makkal Kachi, which is a fringe group out there. Shabir, my colleague on the phone line for more on this. Shabir, a big relief coming in for actor Kamal Haasan.
Well, that's right, a big relief for actor Kamal Haasan. He was asked to appear before the Vallur court in connection with a case that was filed by a fringe group called Hindu Makkal Kachi over his remarks on Mahabharat. In fact, Kamal Haasan in an interview had made certain remarks on Mahabharat, to which the fringe group had taken objection, and they had filed a case in Vallur court in Tirunelveli district, and the court had given issued summons to Kamal Haasan asking him to appear before the court on May 5th. And Kamal Haasan had approached the Madras High Court for a relief, and the court has stayed the summons and had also asked Kamal Haasan not to appear. And the court has also granted an interim stay on the case that is going on in the Vallur court. So clearly a big relief for actor Kamal Haasan over his remarks.
Conducted raids at former Delhi Health Secretary's residence in the national capital. Let's get in a word from Bhavtosh, who's been tracking all the developments. He's joining me on the phone line. Bhavtosh, any statement from the CBI?
The CBI has issued a statement saying that the raids are being carried out at several places in Delhi, and these pertains to a former health secretary of Delhi government, Tarun Sen. In fact, it is his tenure that is being probed, not only Tarun Sen, but also his links with three private companies that is under the scanner. It pertains to some tenders that were issued in which due procedures and law was not followed. The CBI has again clarified that no raid has been carried out at the office or residence of Satyen Jain, against whom there have been several preliminary inquiries that have been filed by the agency. It's a raid on a bureaucrat who was at some point of time Secretary of Health Department, and it is due to the contracts and tenders that it issued to some private companies, which is illegal. That's what CBI has said, and that's the reason why raids are being carried out.
All right, Bhavtosh, many thanks for getting us the updates. So CBI...
Well, the J&K police have released posters of Lashkar men who are involved in the bank loot attacks, announcing a cash reward for anybody who comes with an information on the whereabouts of these militants. These are the pictures that have been released by the Jammu and Kashmir police. Now, there have been several instances of banks being looted in Jammu and Kashmir. Just yesterday, there was an instance that came across from South Kashmir. Before that, also, we've had several instances where banks as well as bank vans have been looted on gunpoint. Let me go back to Farid. Farid, give us more details of the men whose posters are being rotated.
Well, the investigations of the Pulwama police, a team which is being directly headed by SSP Pulwama Rais Mohammed Butt, they have managed to crack the case wherein these banks were looted at alarming frequency in Pulwama. Their investigation has zeroed in on at least 3 Lashkar militants who've been identified as Shabir Dar, Majid Mir and Arif Dar. Now, according to the police, it is these 3 who have been involved in bank loots, and not only bank loots, but if you talk of the recent killing of PDP district president Abdul Ghani Dar, again that was planned and executed by these 3. So they have now formed special teams, and there are raids and search operations that are simultaneously ongoing in various parts of Pulwama, where they feel that these 3 Lashkar men could be hiding. So that part is pretty much clear. And to add to that, they've also come out with these posters, announcements through posters by the police for anyone who can give information about these three, he'll be suitably rewarded. So police working on multiple inputs, and these three are the men who they feel are behind it, and Times Now has accessed exclusive pictures of these three militants.
Now, Farid, are these three being held responsible for all the incidents that have happened in Jammu and Kashmir? And also, is this also linked to the security operation that's being carried out? Are they also on that list?
Well, not all the attacks or militant activities in Jammu and Kashmir, but if you talk of the district Pulwama, specifically the Pulwama district, they're active there. And if you talk of the recent bank loot incidents in Pulwama, where just 2 banks were looted in a matter of few hours, 2 days back, they are directly involved in that, and also in some political killings, including the high-profile one of a PDP district president.
So in both those bank loots, we are given to understand that these 2 people are believed to be three Lashkar militants are believed to be behind this. Now, Farid, as you're pointing out, we understand that special teams have been formed by the police, also by the security forces, to be able to nab the accused. But give us some background on these 3.
Well, these 3 are all local cadre of the Lashkar-e-Toiba. They joined in 2016 and ever since have been very hyperactive. Now, the police say that they had been under their radar for quite some time now, but of late they have increased their activity, and especially if you talk of these bank loot incidents, they are doing to keep the pot of militancy boiling, to keep the subversive activities so that they can get funding, and also to buy high-end mobile phones like iPhones, which are more secure and they cannot be easily traced by the security forces. So all this is being done to fund those kind of activities. The police further say that they're hyperactive because they know the area. They have also made a good OGW network. To add to that, they also have some hideouts in Pulwama. So they're surfacing on and off, carrying out the activity and then slipping back underground. So they're after them, and now a multi-pronged strategy by the Pulwama police to nab them.
All right, stay with us, Farid. M.M. Khajuria, the former DGP of police, also with me now. Mr. Khajuria, good afternoon. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Now, Mr. Khajuria, you know, as Farid was also pointing out, there have been not only a surge, but we're also seeing various instances of bank looting coming forward. And of course, now the police has been able to pinpoint as to who these people are. They were recruited as far as 2016. But how do you see these, this increase? And of course, the fact that this is something new where banks are being looted?
Well, looting of banks is a comparatively recent phenomena.
Yes.
But it is in all probability necessitated by the current cash crunch that the people are feeling. They have recruited more people than they can handle. So they need cash, which is probably difficult to find from across as of today. And they also find that these are soft targets on the areas in which they have a control, and as the overall security environment is in their favor. So they are making the best use of it. And secondly, they are sending a message to the police also, because they have been killing individual policemen right from day one. This new phase of terrorism started. So the latest episode in which policemen and the bank officials were pulled out of the van and killed point blank. And the message so that their morale and their motivation level is lowered.
Right. Mr. Khajuria, appreciate your joining us. Thank you very much.
While the state reels under severe drought, netas in Maharashtra continue to splurge. Now, 16-member delegation, including 2 ministers, legislators and presiding officers of the Maharashtra legislature, have left on a 14-day study tour of Australia, New Zealand and Singapore. Now, each member will incur a cost of more than 6 lakh rupees towards airfare and accommodation, and the state legislature is expected to incur the cost of more than 30 lakh rupees. Now, over 4 years after 23-year-old Nirbhaya was beaten and gang-raped, the Supreme Court will decide today if the 4 men sentenced to death for the brutal crime should be spared the gallows. A trial court had ruled in 2013 that they should be hanged, and the High Court confirmed this sentence the next year.
And this 23-year-old paramedic student who was gang raped by 6 people in a moving bus in South Delhi and was thrown out of the vehicle with her male friend on the night of the 16th of December in the year 2012. The incident sent shockwaves across the country. So will the Supreme Court confirm the death sentence when it comes to Mukesh, Pawan, Vinay and Akshay? We have the parents of Nirbhaya who are joining us live at the moment. Badrinath and Asha Devi ji. Badrinath ji and Asha ji, आपका स्वागत है. आज वर्डिक्ट आने वाला है, आज बड़ा दिन है. क्या सोचते हैं आप, क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
जी देखिए, सोचना क्या है, कहना क्या है. हम तो सोच ही रहे हैं, पूरा देश भी सोच रहा है, आप भी सोच रहे हैं. और ये 5 साल से हम लोग को जो जिस दिन का इंतज़ार था वो आ गया है. थोड़ी देर में फैसला आएगा. अब देखते हैं हमारे जो सिस्टम है वो क्या कर रहा है. हालांकि हमें पूरा उम्मीद है कि हमारी बेटी निर्भया को और पूरे देश को न्याय मिलेगा.
जी आशा जी, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगी?
आवाज नहीं आ रही.
क्या पूछा?
मैंने, तुम पूछना चाह रहे हो, कुछ कहो.
आज क्या कहेंगे? आज काफ़ी बड़ा दिन है. आज जो आपका जो इतना लंबा इंतज़ार था, आज शायद वो ख़त्म होने जा रहा है. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
बस कहना क्या, मैं सबसे पहले तो मैं अपने सभी देशवासियों को धन्यवाद करती हूँ जो आज तक मेरे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. उस 2012 से अब तक हमारे साथ हैं, चाहे दिल्ली में हो चाहे जहाँ भी है. मैं सबका थैंक्स कहना चाहती हूँ. और बस मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि ज्योति को आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट से न्याय मिलेगा और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जो हाई कोर्ट का फैसला है वो बरकरार रहेगा.
जी
मुझे पक्का विश्वास है, क्योंकि अगर हमारे संविधान में न्याय है, सज़ा है, तो इससे बर्बरता और कोई केस नहीं हो सकती. तो हमें इंसाफ मिलेगा और उनको फांसी ज़रूर होगी, क्योंकि वो फैसला भी हमारे समाज के लिए, हमारे सिस्टम के लिए एक संदेश होगा, हमारे बच्चियों को सुरक्षित करेगा.
4 साल के ऊपर हो गए हैं आशा जी और बद्रीनाथ जी कि जब ये हादसा हुआ था आपकी बेटी के साथ, लेकिन काफ़ी लंबी लड़ाई लड़ी है आप दोनों ने. अब जब आज ये बड़ा दिन आ गया है कि आज पता चलेगा कि जो वो 4 लोग थे उनके साथ आज क्या होने वाला है. और ये दोनों कोर्ट्स ने, चाहे वो ट्रायल कोर्ट हो चाहे वो हाई कोर्ट हो, दोनों ने रेयरेस्ट ऑफ द रेयर केस बताया था ये, और बोला गया था कि ये जो उनकी डेथ सेंटेंस है उसको अपहेल्ड किया जाएगा. तो आज आपको लगता है कि आज आपको न्याय मिलेगा सुप्रीम कोर्ट से?
बिल्कुल मिलेगा, इसमें कुछ सोचने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. क्योंकि जिस तरह का ये घटना हुआ है तो कोई भी क्रिमिनल इस तरह का जो क्राइम करता है तो ये थोड़ी सोचता है कि नहीं हमारे देश में कानून भी कोई चीज़ रखती है. तो कानून को ताक पर रखकर जो इस तरह का क्राइम लोग करते हैं तो कानून भी अपने दायरे में रखकर उनको सज़ा देगा और निश्चित रूप से मिलेगा. इनको फांसी ही मिलेगी. पूरे में हम सब लोगों को पूरा विश्वास है. जहाँ तक कि मीडिया का हो गया, पूरे जनता का हो गया, सब पूरे समाज का ही इसी केस के ऊपर नज़र है कि अगर इस निर्भया को अगर न्याय नहीं मिलेगा तो फिर किसको मिलेगा. तो एक सीधी सी और सच्ची बात ये भी है कि अगर निर्भया को न्याय नहीं मिला तो फिर देश की महिलाओं के प्रति जो हो रहा है अपराध, इसमें रोका नहीं जा सकता, कम नहीं किया जा सकता, बढ़ जाएगा. अब बढ़ तो रहा ही है. तो इसको रोकने के लिए भी एक संदेश होना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये केस भी एक संदेश है और एक न्याय व्यवस्था जो हमारी न्याय प्रणाली है उसको भी एक संदेश देना है जनता को कि आखिर जनता का भरोसा बना रहे, विश्वास बना रहे कि नहीं हमारे देश में न्याय है. और निश्चित रूप से इन लोगों को फांसी मिलेगी, निर्भया को न्याय मिलेगा.
आशा जी, मैं आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ. ये जो केस है, आपने बड़ी अच्छी तरीके से कहा कि ये संदेश भी जाएगा देश के लोगों को और उन लोगों को जो इस तरीके क्राइम करते हैं. आशा जी, ये जो केस है और आज का जो वर्डिक्ट होगा, आपको लगता है कि ये एक करारा मैसेज जाएगा सभी लोगों को कि देखिए, अगर हमारी बच्चियों के साथ आप इस तरह का व्यवहार करेंगे तो फिर जो कोर्ट का जो सिस्टम है, इस कंट्री का लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम है, उनके ऊपर देयर विल बी सम एक्शन, कुछ एक्शन होगा उनके ऊपर?
बिल्कुल होगा, क्योंकि अगर आप किसी को 2 गोली मार देते हैं तो वो साफ दिखता है कि नहीं, उनको तो 2 गोली लग गई है, लेकिन हमारी ज्योति को तो जो जख्म मिला किसी को दिखा ही नहीं। या तो उसने महसूस किया या तो हमने महसूस किया, उसकी तो आत्मा छलनी हो गई। तो मैं यही कहना चाहती हूँ कि भगवान के बाद सुप्रीम कोर्ट है, और सुप्रीम कोर्ट से सबको उम्मीद होती है, हमें भी है, तो उनको फांसी जरूर होगी और ज्योति को इंसाफ मिलेगा। और ये एक फैसला हमारे समाज में महिलाओं और बच्चियों के प्रति विश्वास स्थापित करेगा, और जो ऐसे प्रकृति के लोग हैं उनको एक बहुत बड़ा मैसेज जाएगा।
लेकिन अगर हम सिस्टम की बात करें आशा जी और बद्री जी, क्योंकि जब ये घटना घटी थी, जिस तरह का जन सैलाब और जन आक्रोश हमने देखा था, सब लोग सड़कों पे उतर आए थे, सब लोग आपकी बेटी के साथ थे, आपके साथ थे, अभी भी खड़े हुए हैं। लेकिन अगर हम सिस्टम की बात करें, सोसाइटी की बात करें, लंबी लड़ाई है, काफ़ी आगे तक जाना है। आपको लगता है कि उस टाइम से और अब तक कुछ बदलाव आया है?
देखिए बदलाव आया है, मैं ये नहीं कह सकती कि तब से कुछ नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन जो महिलाओं और छोटे छोटे बच्चियों के साथ अपराध हो रहा है, उसके प्रति जितना जागरूक होना चाहिए हमारे सरकार को, हमारे सिस्टम को, हमारे कानून व्यवस्था को, उस तरह से नहीं हुआ है। अगर हुआ होता तो हमें हर दिन इस चीज से जूझना नहीं पड़ता। बहुत चीज बदलने की जरूरत है, इस पे काम करने की जरूरत है, क्योंकि एक आम बात की तरह हो गया, हर रोज उनके साथ रेप हो गया, वो उनके साथ, लेकिन एक कहने को 2 शब्द है, बहुत छोटा है, लेकिन इस चीज को हमें समझना चाहिए कि रेप का जो इफेक्ट है उस बच्ची पे, उसके परिवार पर कितना पड़ता है, ताउम्र उसको उसकी प्रताड़ना झेलनी पड़ती है। तो इसलिए हमारे सरकार को, हमारे सिस्टम को इसका मायने समझना होगा, और इस पे अपने ईमानदारी से, मैं तो यही कहूंगी कि अब से इस पे ध्यान दिया जाए और हमारे बच्चियों को सुरक्षित किया जाए। और जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला आएगा हमारे समाज में एक बहुत बड़ा संदेश लेके आएगा, क्योंकि आज 5 साल से जिस तरह से मैं संघर्ष कर रही हूँ, कहीं ना कहीं हमारे देशवासी भी इस घटना को लेके, उनको भी उम्मीद है कि निर्भया को इंसाफ मिलेगा और समाज में बदलाव आएगा।
आशा जी, मुझे याद है जब 2015 में जब वो जुवेनाइल को छोड़ दिया गया था, आपने कहा था कि अब उम्मीद नहीं रह गई है, अब ये जो जस्टिस है वो बस पेपर्स तक ही रह गई है, बस मिलती नहीं है, और बहुत लंबा हियरिंग पे हियरिंग आती जा रही है कोर्ट में, लेकिन कुछ हो नहीं रहा है। आज के दिन अब आप कोर्ट से, अब आपने कहा कि आप उम्मीद लगा के रखिए कि हाँ, इस केस को एक एग्जाम्पल लिया जाएगा कि अगर कोई आदमी, कोई इंसान इस तरह के कोई क्राइम करता है तो उसको बख्शा नहीं जाएगा।
हेलो,
आई थिंक ठीक है, आपके साथ ऑडियो हमें नहीं मिल पा रहा है, हम उसको ठीक करेंगे, बट आपको यही कहना चाहेंगे कि हम आपके साथ खड़े हैं, पूरा देश आपके साथ खड़ा है, पूरी दुनिया आपके साथ खड़ी है, और आज हम देखते हैं कि अगर ये जो आज कोर्ट वर्डिक्ट है एक एग्जाम्पल के तरीके से सामने आएगी, क्योंकि एक रेयरेस्ट ऑफ द रेयर केस है। आप दोनों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Another big development in the honey trap case where an MP lodged a complaint for extortion against a gang, now we understand, is what the police are saying. Delhi police have detained the father and the brother of the accused lady for questioning. Those are the pictures of the woman who has been arrested by the Delhi police. She was taken to a hometown in Uttar Pradesh where her residence was there, and in fact searches were conducted at her residence at her hometown, and we understand that a hard disk was also seized. Now the Delhi police are claiming that this woman is part of a bigger racket with links to Muzaffarnagar, where another big gang has been active in this particular case, wherein prominent politicians are entrapped and then money is extorted from these political netas.
The Supreme Court has now issued a notice to the Maharashtra government and the NIA on the Malegaon blast case accused Shrikant Purohit's plea, seeking a reply in 4 weeks. To remember that Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, of course, had moved the Supreme Court earlier against the Bombay High Court order that had rejected his bail plea. Earlier, of course, a bench headed by Chief Justice J.S. Kehar has said that the petition will come up in the normal course, and he did not feel that there was a need for an urgent hearing. Do also remember that the Bombay High Court had last week granted bail to Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, accused of plotting the September 2008 Malegaon blast, but rejected the bail plea of co-accused Purohit, saying the charges against him were grave in nature. Now 6 people, of course, had been killed and nearly 100 others had been injured in this bomb that was strapped to a motorcycle. Now Shrikant Purohit, of course, now moving the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court in turn has issued notices to the Maharashtra government and the NIA on the Malegaon blast case accused Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit's plea. Now the NIA, of course, also in its final arguments before the High Court had said that they believe that there is enough evidence to implicate Lieutenant Colonel Purohit in this particular case, also asking the court to deny him bail. Whereas as far as Sadhvi Pragya Thakur was concerned, the NIA, which now is investigating the case, had said that they have no problem with the court granting her bail.
Haryana government wants a huge hike in salaries for its ministers. The Haryana Salaries and Allowances of Ministers Bill 2017 amendment was passed in the Haryana Assembly for 100 times increase in several of their allowances and a many-fold increase in the overall salary and perks. Now this is a report Vishal has sent us.
Haryana Vidhan Sabha today passed a controversial unanimous bill of Salaries, Allowances and Pension Amendment 2017. Now the office allowance has been increased from 2,000 to 20,000 and the salaries have been increased from 50,000 to 60,000. Salaries of Speaker, Deputy Speaker has been increased manifold. Now what's more important is that Haryana government doesn't have money to really waive off the loans of the farmers, and also Haryana Chief Minister had made a controversial statement saying that people should contribute 50% of the amount for better roads. But indeed, on the other hand, they will increase their allowances and also their salaries.
News coming in from Madhya Pradesh, where over a dozen people have been injured after a tire of a bus came out and the driver lost control of the vehicle and hit a divider after that. And in this accident that you can see on your television screens, where CCTV footage has also emerged, nearly a dozen people have been injured. Let's get in a word from Priyanka. Priyanka, take us through the details, please.
See, it's really dramatic visual which has been captured in the CCTV camera of a prominent hotel in Katni when this bus driver first lost his control from the bus, and the rear side of the bus was badly damaged. The rear axles of the bus came out, and you can see in the CCTV footage that how people flung on the street of this particular highway. Fortunately, no one has lost their life, but it's very important to see with respect to today's date, because now Madhya Pradesh, State Transport Department will be deciding the further future of all these buses on the basis of their condition. And looking at this visual, it's quite evident that the State Transport Department has not been looking at the structure and the condition of all these buses which are operational in Madhya Pradesh. The CCTV footage is very dramatic. What is the better side of the story is that no one has lost their life, but many people have sustained injuries. Back to you.
After the entire incident of Ravindra Gaikwad, the Aviation Ministry is all set to issue draft rules for India's first no-fly list. The list will be released today at around 11 a.m. and Hina gets us the updates on this. Hina, it's a much-needed legislation that will come out today from the Civil Aviation Ministry. Draft rules to have people who misbehave on air flights, airlines like Mr. Ravindra Gaikwad, will now face strict punishments.
Well, absolutely. And, it became the need of the hour, especially after that infamous Ravindra Gaikwad incident that took place in the month of March. That time only the ministry had decided that they will be drafting rules to come out with their own no-fly list. Now, this, remember, will be India's first no-fly list of the crimes. But, of course, there are several issues that we will really need to look forward to, that we will be getting an answer to today. For example, if one airline has banned or is going to put any passenger in that no-fly list, then can that passenger fly in other airlines or not? Those are the specific answers that we will be looking forward to. But as far as the draft rules today are concerned that are likely to be released, we are given to understand that, like in the previous rules, the civil aviation requirement that's in place right now to deal with unruly passenger, there is no specific time frame that is there as to till when can an airline really ban a passenger or put that passenger in a no-fly list. So we are likely to see in these rules some time frame coming in, time period giving being given as well. There is no redressal mechanism as well that's in place. For example, if for no reason an airline has decided to put a passenger in that no-fly list, then what should that passenger really do if that passenger is not at fault? So it shouldn't really become a tool of harassing passengers. That's something that has also been taken care of very well. We are given to understand that the new rules that will be released today, they will be taking into consideration the requirement of both the passengers and the airlines as well. And tomorrow, if a passenger wants to challenge this particular order as well, if he's put in a no-fly list, then how he can do that? There is going to be a procedure as well, because the previous rules that's in place right now, it is silent on these issues, and today, of course, strict rules are likely to be put in place.
A global banking fraud case accused has been arrested by the CBI. Sandeep Jhunjhunwala, against whom UAE had got a red corner notice issued, has now been arrested by the CBI. In fact, Nikunj is on the phone line and he's got details of this massive arrest that has been made. Nikunj.
Well, yes, Tanvi, there are two red corner notices that have been executed by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Both of agriculture-based company, REI, and there are Jhunjhunwala, Sanjay and Sandeep. And Government of United Arab Emirates had got an RCN issued for one of them, and Port Louis had again requested the Interpol about $100 million US dollar credit line, out of which $20 million have already been defrauded by these two individuals. In the UAE also, this is some 100 millions of fraud. The principal fraud emanates from a 4,000 crore rupee Calcutta-based agriculture fraud, which started a decade back, and in the years hence then, these individuals, Sandeep and Sanjay Jhunjhunwala, have defrauded millions of US dollars across the globe, and therefore that red corner notice has now been executed by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Both the individuals are behind the bars now.
The RTI query, in fact, has revealed that former Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav spent 21.15 lakh rupees to save Noida Chief Engineer Yadav Singh, who was accused of amassing crores of rupees through illegal activities. Times Now has accessed the RTI documents, in fact, that reveal this. Let me go across to my colleague Sachit, who's joining me in the Mumbai newsroom. Sachit, first of all, break down for us, what's in those documents, because this Chief Minister, the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, is accused of using public funds to basically fight the battle of a man who's alleged to be a corrupt, former engineer.
That's correct. Well, in fact, these are the documents that we have. These are the two documents that Times Now has been able to access. And one of the document is dated 4th May 2017, which is the request for the particular query. And this is the important document that we have to see. This is a document which is dated 5th December, in fact, 5th August 2015. And if you look at this document, clearly you can see these numbers which we have highlighted, which shows the names of prominent lawyers in the country. This includes Kapil Sibal, it includes Harish Salve, and the amount of money that has been paid ranging from 5 lakhs to 8 lakhs to 3 lakhs. So clearly all these adds up to about 21 lakh rupees. Now let's not forget, Viren, this is an individual who has been accused of corruption in awarding contracts in Noida. And in Noida it has seen a spurt of development. There have been many projects which have come up, and this particular individual, the authority chairman in Noida, was accused of taking massive kickbacks. Now there are question marks as to where this money went. And this is not a small amount that we're talking about. There are indications that maybe this particular bureaucrat was a friend for certain political parties. Many question marks. In the backdrop of these questions, we have this particular development where a chief minister of a state is spending a government's money, 21 lakh rupees, to save a government official who's accused of corruption. Mind you, this is a personal battle. When an officer is accused of corruption, the onus is on the officer to prove that he's not corrupt and get himself cleared of all the charges against him. Nowhere will a government step in. The government can step in and maybe suspend the officer, but can't spend money to save the officer.
Absolutely.
But here, Akhilesh is spending 21 lakh rupees.
Absolutely, Sachit. Stay with me. Let me go across to Amir Haq now, who joins me from Lucknow Bureau Chief. Amir, this revelation certainly very troubling for the former Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister, for a man who is known for his connections not just to Samajwadi Party but also the BSP. And Akhilesh Yadav himself has a lot of explaining to do, because he is accused there as former Chief Minister, having spent 21 lakh rupees to pay lawyers to fight a battle for a man who's accused of corruption.
Well, yes, absolutely. And these RTI papers are quite interesting as well as intriguing at the same time, because remember, Yadav Singh as an engineer was close to both the BSP as well as the Samajwadi Party dispensation. And that was why between 2007 and 2012, he had creamy positions within the Noida Authority, within the Yamuna Expressway Authority, and also the Greater Noida Authority. And therefore, you know, he enjoyed powers that allowed him to award contracts which amounted to over 900 crores. In fact, that was why when the Akhilesh Yadav government came to power in UP in March 2015, he was perhaps one of the first officials who was suspended, and there was an inquiry which was kept pending against his name relating to award of contracts of over rupees 900 crores. And apart from that, there were cases that were registered against him by the Enforcement Directorate and also by the CBI in matters of corruption. It's also very interesting that while the Allahabad High Court's Lucknow bench had ordered for a CBI inquiry to be instituted against Yadav Singh in July 2015, the UP government actually went to the Supreme Court and spent all of this money from the state exchequer, amounting to over rupees 21 lakh on fees for such senior lawyers within the Supreme Court, to defend the state government's point of not ordering a CBI inquiry in the Yadav Singh case. So this was something which was very inexplicable, which was very embarrassing for the state government even then.
Right, Amir, just stay with me.
Embarrassing was the fact that
Amir, just stay with me. We've got Nutan Thakur, who's an activist who joins me on the phone line. In fact, this is your RTI query that has yielded this response from the state government to say that the former chief minister of the state spent public money to fight the case of this corrupt officer. Do you see this as a victory for you, and what is the message that you'd like to send?
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो स्टेट पॉलिसी लिटिगेशन को लेके है कि अनावश्यक लिटिगेशन में स्टेट नहीं जाएगी, लिटिगेंट नहीं बनेगी। उसके बाद भी जिस तरीके से यादव सिंह इशू में पहले हर संभव कोशिश स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने यादव सिंह को बचाने के लिए की थी, और उसके बाद जब हाई कोर्ट ने कई सारी हियरिंग के बाद स्टेट को सुनने के बाद सीबीआई जांच के आदेश दिए इंक्वायरी के, उसके बाद स्टेट गवर्नमेंट उस ऑर्डर को चैलेंज करते हुए सुप्रीम कोर्ट चली गई, और वहां जो मनी एक्सपेंड किया उस पे वो पब्लिक मनी का सीधे सीधे मिसयूज था। और ये यही मैसेज देता था कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट करप्ट ऑफिशियल्स को बचाने की कोशिश कर रही है और हर संभव कोशिश करती है। एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में भी उसका बहुत गलत इम्पैक्ट जा रहा था। इसी को देखते हुए मैंने आरटीआई मांगी थी कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट में, चूंकि जब मुझे मालूम चला था कि कपिल सिब्बल जैसे सीनियर एडवोकेट को हायर किया गया था इसमें, तो मैंने आरटीआई मांगा था, और जो पैसे दिए गए हैं वो देख के किस तरीके से गवर्नमेंट मनी का, पब्लिक मनी का मिसयूज होता है, वो ये आरटीआई शो कर रहा है कि करप्शन रिलेटेड इशू को बचाने के लिए जिस तरीके से पैसे खर्च किए गए।
नूतन जी, लेकिन जो आरटीआई डॉक्यूमेंट, जो रिस्पांस है गवर्नमेंट का आपके पास जो आया गया है, उसमें स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने क्या कुछ एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया गया है, या फिर आपको सिर्फ बताया गया कि ये जो फैक्ट्स है केस के और इतना पैसा खर्च किया गया है?
देखिए, मैंने आरटीआई में जो मांगे थे वो एडवोकेट्स को कितना फी पे किया गया है उससे रिलेटेड डॉक्यूमेंट मांगे थे, क्योंकि हाई कोर्ट के काफी लंबा जजमेंट ऑर्डर था और उस पे कोर्ट ने भी जब ऑर्डर दिया था उसमें इस चीज का जिक्र था कि किस तरीके से स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने हर जगह पे उनको बचाने की कोशिश की। उसके बाद भी सीबीआई, अगर हाई कोर्ट ने किसी ऑफिसर के अगेंस्ट सीबीआई इंक्वायरी के आदेश दिए थे तो कोई भी रीजन नहीं था कि उस ऑर्डर को चैलेंज सुप्रीम कोर्ट में किया जाए। करप्शन से रिलेटेड इशू था, तमाम इलीगैलिटी के आरोप लगे थे उसमें और केवल जांच की बात थी। उस पे अगर ऑफिसर को बचाने के लिए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट सुप्रीम कोर्ट गई, अगर ऑफिसर को कोई ग्रीवांस था वो फ्री थे जाने के लिए वहां पे। इस केस में ऑफिसर ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट अप्रोच नहीं किया था, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने अप्रोच किया था। वो चीज भी मैं कहूंगी कि एक किसी भी पब्लिक को हजम नहीं होने वाली बात थी कि साफ साफ जितने करप्शन के आरोप लगे थे, जितनी चीजें यादव सिंह के पास से निकल के आई थी, उसको देखते हुए जब स्टेट गवर्नमेंट बचाने के लिए उनको सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गई और इसमें पैसे खर्च किए जो पब्लिक मनी था, तो यहाँ इस चीज को और सब।
Nutan ji, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत शुक्रिया. Let me thank Amir and Sachit for joining us in that story. That's certainly going to be an important political development in the state of Uttar Pradesh, one that the former government is going to have a lot of answering to do on, and former Chief Minister as well. Thank you for joining us.
News coming in from Pakistan, where it has exposed itself once again. While on one side Pakistani atrocities continue in Balochistan, now the terror state has arrested a Hindu businessman for allegedly sharing blasphemous content on WhatsApp.
Now, not just that, a mob outside a police station, in fact, in the Pakistani district, demanded that the release of the Hindu businessman, Prakash Kumar, so that they could lynch him as punishment for a post that he shared online, which was considered blasphemous.
Wajiullah joining us, getting us more updates. Yes, Wajiullah, tell us what exactly was this incident and this man who is in the police's custody and the kind of atmosphere and outrage that the people in Pakistan have against this man.
Yes, the brutal Pakistan blasphemy law was on its verge to strike again yesterday when allegedly Prakash Singh, a Hindu man, was alleged to have shared a post on Facebook. Well, what happened was it was believed that he had shared a post on Facebook and people were enraged over the post. Well, it wasn't confirmed. A few people of the community went and filed an FIR against him, and after which a mob gathered outside the police. After his arrest, a mob gathered outside the police, and after which a lot of them demanded that he should be released so that justice could be done on the street and he would be lynched like how the political activist Mashal Khan was done a few days back. Well, it has come to light that it has now become a fashion to execute people like this by blaming them over the blasphemy law, as it becomes very easy for them to eliminate them. And this is the culture that Pakistan has now been taking forward.
While the state reels under severe drought situation, Netas in Maharashtra continue to splurge. Now a 16-member delegation, including 2 ministers, legislators and presiding officers of Maharashtra legislature, have left for a 14-day study tour of Australia, New Zealand and even Singapore. Now each member will incur a cost of more than 6 lakh towards airfare when it comes to airfare, accommodation as well. And as the state legislator is expected to incur the cost of more than 30 lakh rupees. Kajal getting us more updates on this. Kajal, well, you know, when it comes to legislators, and it is not only one state, you have different states when you have all these legislators and our netas who are going on junkets to sort of study and investigate abroad. But when it comes to the money that is being spent, it is the taxpayers' money. It is the money that is going from the state exchequer.
Yes, in fact, it's quite interesting because this particular study tour is focused on learning about farm and interestingly, this is something taken off the government on here in Maharashtra, saying that why is the government not doing the Farm Waiver Act, and that is something that they are saying that they will now go to Australia and study how farm loans should be waived off. And it's quite incredible the kind of reasons that they come up with for these kind of studies. And what we are being told is that though the government has stipulated and made a condition that 50% of this 6 lakh rupees has to be paid by each of the Netans themselves, and if at all any family members are accompanying, then the entire fare for the family members has to be paid by them. But despite this, what the opposition is countering is the fact that right now there is an agrarian crisis in the state. Why are the agriculture minister and the food distribution minister at this juncture traveling abroad rather than...
The link between the ISI suspects and Pakistan High Commission is emerging once again. As per the UP ATS, the ISI suspect Aftab Ali was allegedly in touch with the Pakistani High Commission, and with more and more links of spies emerging with the Pakistan High Commission, isn't it time that India deports Abdul Basit back to Islamabad? Let's get a word from Priyank, who's been getting all the updates. Priyank, this espionage racket had emerged last year as well, and again we are seeing such kind of similar incidents taking place. We have seen a big crackdown, especially when it comes to the ISI spies who have been caught across the country. What is the update so far, and what are you hearing from your sources?
See, this is the second incident when any anti-terror unit of India has revealed name of suspects who were working as a handler of these ISI agents who were working in India. And that too, this is the second name whose name has surfaced, is Meherban Ali. Although Meherban Ali was already deported from India to Pakistan, who was working as a visa agent and who lured Indian youth to work for them. In the confession which has been done by one of the suspects who has been arrested by the UP ATS, he says that Meherban Ali told him that he will get him arranged the visa for Pakistan so that he can go and meet his family members. But for that, Aftab will have to work for the ISI in India. And what we know that Aftab has already provided some videos and pictures of the establishment in Uttar Pradesh related to army, and which was supplied to Pakistani handler, and later on it was sent to Pakistan via diplomatic channel, because the Pakistani High Commission officials have always been seen under the radar of Indian agency. But this is for the second time. First, we know that when Delhi Police Crime Branch busted an espionage racket where one of the Pak embassy officer was deported from India to Pakistan, Indian agencies could not do anything about him because he was having diplomatic immunity. Similar thing happened with the Meherban Ali also. When he came in contact with these youth, he indoctrinated them, and later on he forced them to work for the ISI. So investigation is still going on so far. 3 suspects have been arrested by the intercoordination of UP ATS and Maharashtra ATS. Further investigation is on. Agencies are saying that they'll be able to get further details regarding other ISI agents very soon with the help of the confession statement which are coming from these ISI.